And in 2020, we had our first project in schools, the Inclusive E-Learning Project that was in 10 partner schools in 4 districts. This was a very successful project that gave birth to many other different projects that we are yet to listen to today. It was during the implementation of the e-learning project in 2020 and 2021 that we discovered the need for more services to promote inclusion in our schools. And thus, this is where Embrace International Foundation, Uganda, came from. Yes? For all those who witnessed our work in the schools from 2020, you have all seen what we have been doing. From the e-learning project, Embrace International Foundation has given our schools, it's an offline library that can be accessed anywhere. You don't need internet to access it, and tablets, and our children since 2020 have been enjoying this service. Reading beyond what the teachers teach in class, doing a lot of research, doing revisions during their free time, and we are happy to share today that this project has made great success in our schools. Our head teachers can attest to that. 2020, we did a small test just to, we wanted to know the attitude of our children towards disability. You know, Embrace is all about empowering our children with disabilities to stay in school, not to drop out, to complete school. So we did this research and we realized a majority of our students did not know so much about disability. Most of them thought, for us where we come from, they say disability is a curse, that disabled people cannot do much in life, that having a disability is a punishment from God. And I cannot sit next to a child with a disability. This is the kind of feedback we got in our schools. I cannot have a friend with a disability because it will move from my friend and jump to me. So we saw all this in our schools after doing this assessment. And then we said, no, we cannot just do this assessment and then we sit on it. We are going to do something about this attitude. And that's when we started doing the inclusion workshops. We started doing these inclusion workshops with our partners, Chaninga Child Development Center. Their special needs team, we used to move from school to school and talk to children, teach them about what disability is, how we can support children with disabilities, how we can work together in the school environment to make this child very comfortable. Because we also realized actually our children with disabilities were dropping out of school. So when we started these workshops, that time I remember we did the workshops for close to 7 months, and then we did another same assessment at the end of the year. And the attitude had changed so much. So many children were now saying, you know what, I don't mind now having a child with a disability as my friend because I know that there are also people like me. I can now play with a child with a disability, and this is exactly what we wanted to see in these schools. So this change is actually possible when we educate our children, when we tell them that anyone can be disabled. Today you can be when you're very fine and tomorrow you get an accident and you just have one leg. So this is something that is important for all of us to embrace. And as Embrace International Foundation, we are committed to fostering an inclusive environment where every student has the opportunity to excel in school. Since 2020, unfortunately this is not so clear, but number one there says over 10,000 students have been supported in our e-learning labs, and we have seen an improvement in their learning outcomes. Over 15,000 students have attended our inclusion workshops, and we have seen a change in their attitude towards disability. Improved accessibility in our partner schools. Embrace International Foundation has been constructing latrines, constructing rails for the students so that they can be able to access our classrooms without any challenges, and also bars for support for our children. So we've been doing accessibility as well in our partner schools. 147 teachers in e-learning. When we did this e-learning project, our teachers felt left out. They always came and said, Isabella, now you people are teaching our children how to use computer and they are challenging us in class. So we said, no, we are not going to leave our teachers behind. Last year, we moved around all our 10 partner schools by then, and we taught our teachers how to use these devices and how to do research on these devices, because there's a lot of content on them. This device can be connected, even you connect on your phone, and you'll be able to access just like how you connect on the Wi-Fi, and you can be able to view all the content that we give these children. And it's always updated every year with the support of our teachers. And our gentleman here, who will introduce himself later, is the one who has designed all the programs on this device. He will introduce himself later. Thank you, Robert. Also, electricity and solar connection for our 3 partner schools that did not have electricity because we needed our devices to be charged. And that is also something we've been doing in our schools. And also this last year we had a sanitation project where we distributed 10 hand washing stations to our schools. Yes, and we also taught our children how to wash their hands and to keep the environment clean, because sanitation is very important. Our 2025. Here, we are happy to announce that we initially had said that we had 10 schools that we've been working with ever since 2020, but this year we have added 5 new schools, and that is Christ Aid, Mugusu Primary School, Kazingo Primary School, Rukoki in Kasese, and Buhundu in Bundibujo. Thank you. So we are going to extend our e-learning project to the 15 schools. They will also be receiving computers and these devices. And we also have a menstrual hygiene project that is beginning next month. In the menstrual hygiene project, we are going to partner with Reproductive Health Uganda and Freedom for Girls, which is an organization that is going to be training our girls to make reusable pads on their own, and also how to keep them clean and maintain a healthy hygiene, because these are all challenges that we discovered that are making our girls drop out of school. So we hope that when our girls can learn, if our girls can learn how to make these reusable pads, they can actually, this is a more sustainable option for them than giving them the pads and then we walk away. But we are giving them this knowledge that is going to stay in their minds forever. Yes, so this is another project that we are doing this year. And then Leave No Learner Behind, which is the reason as to why we are here today. Leave No Learner Behind is a project, is an innovative gender and inclusion strategy for and by youth with disabilities themselves. Like I had earlier said, we had workshops that were done by special needs teachers, and these were people without disabilities. But then someone tipped to us and said, but imagine, Embrace, if people with disabilities themselves pushed this change that you're trying to see, don't you think that it would make more impact? So this is now what we are testing this year. We have people with disabilities. They designed this project themselves, they're implementing it themselves, and we are hoping to see even greater change than we have been seeing in our schools when it comes to inclusion. For this project, our project coordinator is right here, Mr. Wilbert, will be sharing with us more exciting details about this project. But all I can say is that we've done a baseline. We've done a baseline, and in this baseline, we've done a baseline in the 5 schools, because these are 5 schools where we've not had these workshops before. We've not had these workshops in the 5 schools, so we know that our children don't know so much about inclusion as yet. But after this project, we want to measure and see if having people with disabilities push this change is going to actually make greater impact than we had before. So someone will be sharing, a colleague will be sharing our baseline results of the tests, the different tests that we did with you shortly. That's the hypothesis there of this project. Involving people with disabilities in designing and delivering inclusion workshops can lead to more inclusive classrooms, greater understanding of gender equality, and enhanced experiences of girls with disabilities. This is the sample. We did a baseline test, and in our sample in 5 primary schools, we tested with grade 5 and grade 6 students. In total, there were 677 students. These students did tests, literacy and math tests, just to assess their academic levels, and also questionnaires. We had a questionnaire that, a catch questionnaire. A catch questionnaire is a mirror questionnaire that is answered by both students with and without disabilities, but the question is a bit opposite. For example, for the child without a disability, a question can say, I cannot sit next to a child with a disability. And on the other mirror of the other question is saying, children without disabilities don't want to sit next to me. So this is the catch questionnaire. We'll be hearing the results that we got from this questionnaire. And then we also had focus group discussions with our teachers, and we are hoping to have focus group discussions with our parents as well, because there is no way we can push inclusion without including our parents, because they are the ones in the communities where our children come from. So we'll be having meetings with our parents as well, and our leaders, because we cannot do this alone. We need everyone on board to support this cause so that we can see greater impact. Thank you so much. This is all from me from now.
Inclusion education. We are not here mostly for what will be presented here, but share thoughts. Thoughts would be how we can impact our learners. Empress is about that inclusion. Inclusion means everyone, every learner you have at school is supposed to make it to the next level. Having a safe environment in school is the paramount for Empress. That's why it calls it inclusive education, but mostly standing on the foundation of what we think has been left behind. Our learners with disability. Our learners with disabilities in most schools have been neglected, next to neglected. I shouldn't say neglected. I should say they have been rendered less time than the rest of the learners. So it is about me and you today, share thoughts, how better we can close this gap. I recognize the presence of our Chief Administrative Officer who has just arrived. Before I welcome him to make opening remarks and invite our RCC, I would like to let you know, our invited guests, that before us we have the district education officers, we have district inspector of schools with us, we have the community development officers with us, we have the special needs education officers with us still, we have our head teachers from the schools we implement our activities, and we have our dear teachers, plus the entire staff of Empress International Foundation with us today. And we are saying we are here because we want to leave no learner behind. So we are sharing thoughts on how better, if there are any thoughts, because we believe, we invited us because we believe there are thoughts we can share with ourselves about how we can better bridge this gap that has been left on our learners that we identified that are vulnerable. And those are learners with disabilities, and of course, who have also added the other component of our girls, and mostly girls living with disability. That is in gender equality. I take this honor to welcome our Chief Administrative Officer to give opening remarks, and thereafter he will invite the RCC to grace the occasion. Thank you.
The RCC, Fort Potro and Kabarole region, the district education officers here present, the district inspectors of schools, head teachers and teachers of special needs learners, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Arthur Hachiza. I am the Deputy Chief Administrative Officer for Kabarole District Local Government. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you to this very important engagement, and also to appreciate Embrace International for this initiative and effort in ensuring the government strategy of having inclusive education. Ladies and gentlemen, you will appreciate that inclusive education is one of the parameters of the universal primary education. And therefore, any effort that is made towards achieving the universal primary education in Uganda is welcome with open hands. And therefore, we don't want to take your effort as Embrace International for granted. I realize that you have tackled very important areas in inclusiveness, equity and accessibility, e-learning, menstrual hygiene, and leaving no learner behind. And specifically on leaving no learner behind, when you make a direct translation, that is bona bashome or bona basome, whichever language you can translate it in. And therefore, we want to recognize that and put all our energies and support in making sure that no learner is left behind. But more specifically, learners with special traits on their bodies and in their minds. We really appreciate that these are very, very important Ugandans. And once we don't hold their hands, we shall definitely leave them behind. I appreciate the designer of this program. I know he will introduce himself, but I have already seen and realized and assessed that he's a very able-bodied Ugandan. We can clap for him. So Isabella and Kasfa, you are on point. We want to appreciate that. What does the government do on our part as government? We have designed enabling policies to make sure that there is liberalization of education, in a sense that every parent, whether rich or poor, whether middle income earning, can afford to take their children to school at whichever level you can fit. Policies, not one or two only, on partnerships, the PPPs, public-private partnerships, in a sense that we welcome partners in all spheres that are geared towards inclusive education and making sure that all Ugandans have gone to school. We have always maintained a conducive learning and teaching environment. I know we still have a number of challenges here and there, but we have taken a stride, especially since 1997, to make sure that schools are built, not just built, but also including the components and facilities to enable children with disabilities access classrooms. Provision of human resources in terms of recruitment and payment of teachers timely. It is the national target that by the 26th date of the month, all salaries are paid to teachers and other government employees. We have also made an effort in human capital development, encouraging our teachers, head teachers, and other instructors to go for further studies. Yes, I know people are complaining, we are sitting on our masters, we are sitting on our bachelors, but you have not considered us. Yes, it's better to have a paper in your docket, such that when other enhancements are coming in, they find you ready. And I think government has done that. Management at our local government levels, we have always had support supervision through our strategic offices. That is the office of the District Inspector of Schools and the office of District Education Officer. We have really done that, and we shall always continue to support that support supervision. One challenge that we still have, and to our partners, probably if you can expound on your mandate, is the special needs education. We are not yet there. We are not yet there in a sense that we still lack gadgets. We have learners that cannot hear properly. We have learners with visual impairments. We have learners who need really gadgets to support them such that they can come up to speed and be able to compete with others. Unfortunately, or maybe fortunately, the exams done at the end of the course are standard and for all. So we have to make an effort to make sure that we patch up the gaps that really exist for our special needs students to make sure that they match up to speed. I, for one, I don't support these special needs institutions that are exclusively for special needs, because our learners feel isolated. They feel they cannot compete with those that do not have, challenges. And yet, the world will remain competitive and for all. So we shall not have a separate world for special needs kids and learners. They must live and work together and study together and compete together with others, but of course with specific special facilities provided to them. Today is not my day. I was just given a small but again important duty to invite the RCC to make his remarks, and that is what I will do. I request the RCC as our chief supervisor to come and make his remarks. I thank you so much.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, once again. I'll introduce myself again. My name is Agatha Katsime Agaba. I work as the Assistant Resident City Commissioner for Poto City. I'm here in the name of our RCC. I want to take this opportunity to thank Embrace International Foundation for inviting me here, for inviting our office. We cannot take this for granted. Thank you very much. I also want to acknowledge their work to our people. You see, we are all candidates of being disabled. We cannot know when. We can even be parents of disabled children. So anytime you cannot tell. So I have to thank them for this innovative project that is posted on supporting children with disabilities. Also, I want to emphasize that as he has mentioned, the government is also committed to supporting inclusive education. It is very good because we find it being accessible for all our learners, both disabled and non-disabled. And for us as government, this is part of our mandate. Education is part of our mandate. The NRM government supports education. It's one of the manifesto. It's the manifesto of our party, our government. So we find it very, very good for us, and we have to thank organizations like this who are supporting our work. Thank you so much, Embrace Foundation. This gentleman, whom we don't know the name yet, who is behind, they told us he's behind the systems. You people, aren't you challenged? Me, I'm challenged and I'm so impressed. So I have to thank him. So as government, we shall continue to support you in any way. And I call for follow-ups. Please let us know for all the steps, and we shall be able to support the way we should be supporting. I thank you, and I wish you a successful meeting.
That really gives us hope as IPs on going beyond what maybe we are supposed to do. With such stakeholders initiating I heard our RCC comment about the project coordinator in front of us. He's called Wilbert Chembo, and is coordinating our project of Leave No Learner Behind. Embrace identifies certain abilities to give self-confidence in our learners who have lost hope in whatever circumstances they are battling on ground, and has assured picks the rightful people on ground to give back hope. We are blessed to have him. He is a gentleman who is not only in Uganda, he crosses borders to advocate for rights of youths with disabilities. He is a youth representative for youths with disabilities in Africa, who has represented Embrace in the recent Commonwealth that was in Samoa. So he was there. That is the gentleman we are glad to have in Embrace. We are going to have dissemination on research by FIT. But I would want to make an adjustment. We are sensitive about everything. We just hope we shall give not more than 15 minutes to CASFA, so that we all have breakfast, and we shall really want to maintain and observe time today. So we are very sensitive. So we shall have that, then go for breakfast. Then after we shall have a presentation from our project coordinator, which everyone doesn't have to miss. That is what brought us today. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, our esteemed stakeholders, our guests, protocol observed, good morning. as earlier discussed by Isabella, we conducted our baseline research early this February this year, and this is the summary of our findings. On your tables, we have 2 papers having the summary of our findings in our baseline study. Kindly refer to it. So I'm going to go through it in 15 minutes. Are we all having the display of the summary of the findings on our tables? A total number of students were reached out in 5 target schools. The 5 target schools were mentioned already by Isabella. We have 3 schools in Kabarole district, that is Mugusu Primary School, Crest-Eyed Primary School, Kazingo Primary School. Then we have 1 school in Bundibujo, that is Buhundu Primary School, and 1 more school in Kasese, that is Rukoki Primary School. Those are the 5 schools where we conducted our baseline study during our research. So, the general questions which were asked, one is about school policy. The findings revealed that all schools had policy on anti-bullying and non-discrimination. All the 5 schools we visited, which are participating in our research, had the non-discrimination policy and anti-bullying. All 5 schools had all the available schools encouraged equal participation of girls and boys, including learners with disabilities, meaning all our 5 schools where we conducted our research from are inclusive schools. Then, accessibility of school environment. During accessibility, we used observation method. That is, we found out 1 out of the 5 schools had ramps at the classroom entrance. Only 1 school had ramps. So, meaning these other 4 schools, students having physical disabilities, especially students using wheelchairs, they cannot access classrooms. All the schools have spaces reserved for boys and girls with disabilities, and the latrine doors weighed enough. All latrines in the 5 schools were inclusive, meaning learners with disabilities, they can access those latrines. All the 5 schools have handrails. The fact that their latrines are accessible, they have handrails reserved for learners with disabilities. Then 3 out of the 5 schools had accessible compounds. We used this observation method, but some schools had hills, the compounds were not accessible, and the playground was not accessible. Attention, since we have papers in front of us, we shall be reading on our own when we get time. Enrollment and retention. All schools captured data on enrollment. However, 2 out of the 5 schools captured data on completion. All schools were registering students, but 2 out of the 5 schools we captured data on completion and retention. Learners were dropping out in these other schools. They were beginning first term,
they have a lot of enrollment, but by the third term, the enrollment reduces in other 3 schools. We also tested our learners using math and literacy in their cognitive learning. They did math and the literacy test, and the findings showed 54% of girls with disabilities, 67% girls without disabilities, and 80% boys with disabilities passed the math test. For literacy assessment, 72% girls with disabilities, 86% girls without disabilities, and 93% boys with disabilities passed the literacy exam. Learners with the disabilities that performed below the pass mark of 50% in math included impairment. One of the impairment, it was speech difficulty for those who underperformed the literacy test. So, we also have non-cognitive learning. We tested these learners' capacities using non-cognitive learning through disability awareness, response to bullying, learners' participation in school, self-esteem, where learners did different questionnaires. As earlier mentioned by Bella, we used the CATCH, which is a mirror questionnaire for students having disabilities and students without disabilities. For example, CATCH B is for students with disabilities. There is this question: I don't feel comfortable sitting to a student without a disability. That was one of the questions in CATCH B. Then in CATCH A, there is that question: I feel comfortable sitting next to a student with a disability. And these are the findings from our mirror survey, which is CATCH A and CATCH B. Without disabilities, and CATCH B is done by students with disabilities. So this is, the last part is the percentages of CATCH A and CATCH B. You can go through it. 82% of the girls and boys without disabilities don't mind if a student with a disability sat next to them. Then the next one is 54% of them wouldn't introduce a student with a disability to their friend. So with these findings, we hope to use these findings to ensure equal access and participation, hence leaving no learner behind. Is there any question? You can go through the summary of the results, because I've just gone through briefly during your free time and understand them fully. Is there any question about the results and the findings of the baseline study? So with this, we have a clear starting point to support student success and promote inclusion, hence leaving no learner behind.
District officials. These IPs are withdrawing. They have withdrawn from one of the schools because they thought it wasn't committed towards its activities. And they tried engaging with the administration, but there were no results. So So, to our dear head teachers, let us see that we take this opportunity, because the beneficiary is not you, it is this learner. Let us not block that. And that's why we are here to share. If there are gaps between the IPs, those are the different, I shouldn't say about only Empress, because there are other organizations coming in. Last time we were in cards, we saw another organization bring in a tank, a water tank. We are so happy to see this, because that is what Empress is. We want to see these changes that will bring a positive impact to our learners. And this should be you, the teacher on ground. Because as teachers, that is what we are. We want to cause an impact that is positive in our communities. I don't see anyone to guide us. Could Juliet, please come and guide us, because we need to know the next step. Thank you.
My name is Nyangoma Noro Troyton, and I'm the founding director of Freedom for Girls Uganda. We have done this through our programs under Period Empowerment, where we give educational services to girls and women in communities to help them uplift their confidence and to embrace their womanhood. Today I'm happy that I've been invited to speak about it, and I thank Embrace International for allowing this happen to our communities. You are doing a great job, and we applaud you so much. These are opportunities that our kids lack, and seeing people like you come out to give them a space where they can discuss matters regarding their womanhood or girl-child issues, we really acknowledge that. So I'm happy to say I'll be partnering with Embrace Uganda, do period education and economic empowerment activities around girls in schools. I am not alone. I work with Madam Chasi at work. So I and her and other members, we do this. I'm happy to actually see faces of our clients that we work with, Mr. Sanusu, Madam Avolik Talasa, and others. So we have been doing period empowerment programs with about 25 schools. Here we give period products, we teach girls how to make their own reusable pads, we give them a safe space to discuss matters regarding periods, as well as guidance and counseling, which we have done so greatly, and I hope our clients can applaud us for that. Otherwise, that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Heard about what she will be doing in the different schools. She will be allocated to do the activities in. I've been guided by our country director. She will not be stepping forward. She wants me to give a brief talk about who our project coordinator is, so that we go through his project overview of what he is leading us in. The young man we are seeing before us takes a big part in Embrace. He takes a big part in recruiting the team, recommending the team on ground with a different expertise. Who is he? He's Wilbert Chihembo, a software engineer. He will be talking more about that. How is his journey? He is a gentleman whom, if I told to speak before us, you wouldn't hear anything because he struggles to talk. How has he managed? He is a young man who was led by the different teachers. I'm glad to say we are blessed twice. In fact, on the invited head teachers, there is a school he sat his P7 from. Let me not say something that we may not understand. Let the head teacher say something small. That's the head teacher, Rukoki Primary School. That's where he sat from. He didn't use a pen. What did he use? She's going to tell us.
Kabu Safina, the head teacher of Rukoki Model Inclusive School. I have been there for the last 13 years. This is my 14th year, and I'm going to retire from there because I'm to retire in November this year. Chembo was a pupil at a school called Rapsid. It is a private school, but they didn't have a sitting center, not even examination number center. So he was compelled to be brought to my school and many other pupils from that school. That was 2012. Yeah. So Chihembo was brought by his parent. I'm blessed to say I love his parent, for he's an African, the first African parent I've met who's concerned with his child. When, as you know, that parents with children with disabilities don't mind about their children. They think it is a wastage. They regret to have such children. But this is a man who was very capable to look after Chembo. Even on that day when he came to SAT, we were together with him. I thank God for the Enable Scout because he didn't disturb us at all. Chihembo used a laptop. Unfortunately, we didn't have a printer that would print out his work. And it rained heavily on that day. So I, the father, who had come with a vehicle, because I wouldn't manage, who had come with a vehicle together with a neighbor scout, would travel to a place called Nyakasanga, around 2 kilometers from our school, to go and print out his work from the laptop. So we did it successfully under rain. He struggled, would struggle with him, but luckily enough, Chihembo passed out very well with 11 aggregates. That year we had 3 grades only. Among them, mine were 2 now from my school. Then him was the 3rd. He gave me a credit. I salute you, Chihembo. God bless you. He went to a school called Bright Academy, where he completed his senior 6. He went as far as Chambogo, and I didn't follow up more about him after his senior 6. But later on, I discovered he had completed a step ahead. Later on, I was told he's a big man and he's going outside countries. Later on, I saw him coming to my school to construct a toilet. Later on, I saw him bringing me a lady called Mabel, who's now helping to teach our children and standing to be a model. So that is Chihembo, who has brought me, and I'm looking at him and wishing him to employ me when I retire, because I'm retiring next year. I'll be at home. I was thinking, I was talking to her, if we marry these children, we don't know where we shall be. In my heart I was saying, don't you think time may come and I wish that he employs me? And if I had not impressed him to study, if I had rejected him to sit at my center, if I had not helped him to go up to Nyakasanga, under rain, struggling to print out. Wouldn't have him here. I was talking to him, would I have come to this place? I didn't know the place. He has made me to come in this fantastic hall. God bless you, Chembo. Thank you very much.
And how does Empress do it? On ground, they bring such people with innovative minds. We, some of the team in Empress, are recruited by him. And I must say, when you go through Empress, you must have a different expertise. I was working with RTI. It was supporting most of the schools in Uganda. I'm comfortably recruited by him, and I have a master's, and I bow down to him. I am comfortable. Empress has given him the platform to inspire and bring us on board. And that is what Empress is doing. So we are here to share his project overview and how he thinks it is doing on ground. The head teacher has told us through the parents. So we need to learn. There was a parent in between. And there's a head teacher. Meaning we can't do it alone. When we reach your schools, we need to engage. We always reach in communities. We want to understand. When we find issues, we shall not leave them there. We want to go to the community where our learners are coming from and do what exactly is supposed to be done. That is we, the teachers here, what we are supposed to do. We should make that bottleneck analysis. We should go an extra mile and understand our learners. We have different categories of our team that we shall see in the subsequent activities. They will be leading us and telling us how they do it. And they will lead the session where we shall have the feedback from we, the participants around today. Over to you, Wilbert. We shall listen to him attentively. Thank you.
Leaving no learner behind. Greetings, everyone. I am Kihembo Wilbert, the project coordinator and ICT coordinator at Empress International, Uganda. It is truly an honor to be here today, sharing a vision that is both deeply personal and crucial for our collective future, leaving no learner behind. Education is the foundation of progress, yet millions of our children, especially those in rural communities and marginalized groups, are still being left behind. Some face barriers due to disability, others due to gender inequality, poverty, or lack of access to resources. At Empress International Foundation, we believe that every child, regardless of their abilities, gender, or background, deserves the opportunity to learn, grow, and reach their programs that tackle the key challenges in inclusive education. Today, I will take you on a journey, one of the highlights, the transformative impact of our self-directed e-learning, teacher training, and mentorship programs. These interventions are reshaping education for students with disabilities and girls in Rwenzori, proving that true inclusion is not just an idea, it is a reality we can achieve. Together, we can break barriers, shift mindsets, and build a future where no child is excluded from learning opportunities. And I am a living example of what inclusive education makes possible. Let's begin. Slide 2. the e-learning initiative. Since 2019, Embrace International Foundation has been at the forefront of inclusive education, ensuring that all learners have equal access to learning, regardless of their abilities or gender. We started with 10 primary schools in Rwenzori region of western Uganda, and we are excited to expand to 15 schools, reaching 3,643 students this year, and this includes 1,860 girls, representing 51%, and 1,783 boys, representing 49%. 379 learners with disabilities, representing 10.4%. While these numbers are encouraging, barriers still exist. Students with disabilities face exclusion due to stigma, lack of resources, and inadequate teacher training. Girls are more likely to drop out of school due to financial constraints, cultural expectations, and lack of support. Bullying and discrimination persist, making it harder for marginalized students to thrive. To tackle these challenges, Embrace developed a multifaceted approach that goes beyond just providing access to schools. Our work involves 1. E-learning labs to bring technology-based learning to rural learners. 2. Teacher training programs to equip educators with inclusive teaching strategies. 3. Mentorship cycles led by professionals with disabilities to inspire and guide students. 4. Community engagement to shift societal attitudes towards gender and disability inclusion. Our goal is to transform not just education, but the mindsets and cultures that shape students' experiences in schools. Slide 3. The e-learning initiative. Technology is a game changer in education, but access remains a challenge in rural areas. That's why Embrace introduced self-directed e-learning as an innovative solution. We equipped 10 primary schools with e-learning labs powered by offline virtual servers. These servers provide digital learning without the need for internet connectivity, contain thousands of educational resources, books, videos, and apps, are designed to accommodate learners with disabilities, including those with hearing, visual, and intellectual impairments. Through this initiative, we encouraged self-directed learning, allowing students to explore and learn at their own pace. The results have been remarkable. Students became more confident and engaged. Girls showed increased interest in science subjects. Learners with disabilities improved in digital literacy and academic performance. This was not just about introducing technology, it was about empowering students with the tools to take control of their education. Slide 4. What impact did self-directed e-learning have? Our research tells us a powerful story. Cognitive skills, math and literacy performance. Math scores increased by 63.4% in intervention schools, compared to 45.1% in control schools. Literacy scores also saw a 23% improvement, proving the effectiveness of our e-learning labs. Inclusion and social impact. Students in intervention schools developed a higher levels of teamwork and intrinsic motivation. Empathy towards students with disabilities increased, leading to a reduction in bullying. More students, particularly girls, expressed a desire to continue their education beyond primary school. These findings reinforce that inclusive, technology-driven learning environments can transform not just academic results, but also students' confidence, aspirations, and attitudes towards inclusion. Slide 5. Teacher trainings. Inclusive education is not just about technology. It is about equipping teachers with knowledge and skills to support all learners. In 2024, Empress launched a teacher training program focused on 1. Using e-learning labs effectively. 2. Supporting students with different impairments. 3. Creating disability-friendly classrooms. And finally, gender sensitivity training to encourage girls' participation. Teachers are the backbone of inclusive education. By giving them the right tools and mindset, we are ensuring that students receive not just digital learning, but also the human support they need to thrive. Slide 6. Inclusion workshops. Inclusion beyond academics. Building respect, representation, and acceptance, belonging, respect, and representation for all learners. True education goes beyond textbooks and classrooms. It nurtures understanding, empathy, and acceptance, ensuring that no child is left behind because of disability, gender, or background. However, many students with disabilities continue to face stigma, discrimination, and exclusion from their peers, teachers, and even communities. Negative attitudes, misconceptions, and lack of awareness create barriers to learning that go far beyond physical accessibility. To address these challenges, we introduced inclusion workshops led by professionals with disabilities, individuals who have first-hand experience navigating these barriers and who serve as a powerful advocates and role models for students. These workshops are designed to shift perceptions, empower students, and build a culture of inclusion in schools. Key components of inclusion workshops: membership circles, small groups where students, both with and without disabilities, interact with mentors who have disabilities. These mentors share their experiences, challenges, and achievements, helping students understand what it means to live with a disability while also demonstrating that disability is not inability. Through open conversations, role-playing activities, and guided discussions, students develop empathy, respect, and appreciation for diversity. 2. Disability awareness sessions. These sessions educate both students and teachers about disability rights, accessibility, and the use of adaptive technologies. Teachers learn inclusive teaching methods, while students gain a better understanding of how to support and interact with their peers with disabilities. Topics covered include the importance of equal education opportunities for all students, common myths and misconceptions about disabilities, how assistive technologies such as screen readers, sign language apps, and braille devices help students with disabilities learn effectively, strategies to prevent bullying and discrimination in schools. 3. Holiday camps. During school holidays, we organize interactive, hands-on workshops where students can explore inclusion and diversity in creative ways. 4. Inclusion ambassadors. In every school, we will select and train female leaders, both with and without disabilities, who take on the role of inclusion ambassadors. Their responsibilities include promoting disability awareness among their peers, advocating for students with disabilities within their schools, organize peer support programs to ensure that no student feels isolated, and encouraging their fellow students to stand up against discrimination. The impact of inclusion workshops. By bringing professionals with disabilities into schools, we are changing perceptions, fostering acceptance, and empowering students with disabilities to see their own potential. These workshops do not just teach students about inclusion, they model inclusion in action. Students without disabilities learn that their peers with disabilities are not different, but equally capable individuals who deserve respect, opportunities, and friendship. Students with disabilities gain confidence, seeing mentors who have succeeded despite challenges, inspiring them to believe in their own abilities. Teachers and school staff become more aware of how to create a truly inclusive learning environment, reducing unconscious biases and improving classroom experiences for all learners. Beyond the classroom, a cultural shift. Inclusion is not just about education, it's about transforming entire communities. The lessons learned in our workshops extend beyond the classroom walls, influencing families, local leaders, and society at large. When students grow up in a school environment that celebrates diversity and embraces inclusion, they carry these values into adulthood, shaping a more accepting and equitable world for future generations. At Embrace International Foundation, we are not just changing education, we are changing lives. Slide 7. To conclude, I want to leave you with this thought. Education is not a privilege. It is a fundamental human right. So, I ask you, how can you contribute to making education more inclusive? How can we ensure that no learner is left behind? Let's work together to create a world where education is truly inclusive for all. Leave no learner behind. Thank you for listening.
He's not with us, he's in Kampala for another important workshop. So I'm happy to be part of this initiative. It's very great, and I thank the program coordinator and the initiators of this project to really help our children come up inclusively with no discrimination. Thank you so much. It was really a very impressive presentation by our friend, and a lot we have learned actually from this presentation. And now, what we have is the thought that we can share. We contribute our thoughts about what is given to us, that how can you contribute. In fact, it's I. You say I when you read. How can you contribute to making education more inclusive? How can we ensure that no learner is left behind? And indeed, this initiative to be part of the program. And actually, it is a reminder to us, especially we who are at the forefront of guiding education in our different areas where we are coming from. So, to me, I would suggest that we come up together, we team up at in our departments, and we see how we plan to cascade this project to the rest of our communities. And we would begin with ourselves, because we need to change our minds. First of all, we need to have changed minds, we ourselves. So how do we approach our learners in the schools that we monitor? When we go out to monitor education in our schools, do we mind about this class of pupils, of students? That is a question to ask. Sometimes we reach schools and we just seem like we are seeing other things. You come out without taking keen notes of any of such a type of learners in a school. And sometimes we take no interest in finding out if the facilities really are relevant or are helpful to these learners of ours. So, members, I'm saying we need to team up, and we have to begin with ourselves. And then we can go to the rest of the community to see how we bring everybody on board. Thank you so much.
Is to help us and try to find ways how they can bring in a person who can be direct from the district, monitoring especially the inclusive schools, to find out the missing pupils or students who disappears from schools and get lost from there. I hope if you advocate for that one from the ministry, after forwarding any document that you may design, it will be very important it will be a great achievement for us, and it will contribute to this innovation we are in. Thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. Just to pan a bit about what we are seeing before us, the different facilitators. Empress looks at the gaps, like we said. Brian said he's a gentleman with a bachelor's in guidance and counseling. But in Empress, he has an expertise of Braille teaching. Yes, where Empress will see that we have these impaired learners, he comes in. He comes in. And still, he teaches computer. He does that. We are seeing the team. Most of them have the physical disability. What do they do on ground? Inspire our learners. That is what we do. Thank you very much. In fact, we are training on e-learning. It was conducted by the group we saw in the different schools we are implementing the program. That was last year. It began in term 2 and term 3. We shall go to the next slide. We shall look into introduction of e-learning. We shall look into the objectives. We shall know how many attended, the achievements, and what were the feedback and the challenges. Then we shall conclude. I'm just going in that format so that we are not past the time we are supposed to be having. E-learning. We have talked about e-learning. Empress, has impressed. Empress has impressed something that is not in schools. We ought to look at assistive technology for inclusive education. We have seen our learners struggle, and at the end, they need assistance. And we have thought, since our teachers at some point don't have enough time to interact with learners, we introduced e-learning platform with the different tools that are used by the learners in these schools. So far, the 10 schools have these tools, these devices that are assisting our learners in the different areas that they may not be able to encounter without these devices. So these learners are assisted with the devices which we have termed e-learning platform. So we have the different e-learning labs in our 10 schools so far, and the other 5 more schools are yet to receive, because Empress is making it, by the way. We'll go to the next slide. What are the objectives? We are saying the training took place just to see how our teachers are able to support already the 2,177 learners that have already been a beneficiary to the e-learning in the 10 schools. So we thought our teachers need to know how to support our learners, because initially when these e-learning labs were introduced in schools, teachers were a bit not supportive to these learners. And we needed to engage them so that at every time that these learners may support, these teachers are available. So this is the number that had already benefited and are in classrooms that were identified in those different schools that are benefiting from the e-lab. The other objective, we looked at how it could enable teachers adopt to their teaching methods to cater for the learners with the diverse needs. We know what Empress does, so we are catering for that group. Also, our teachers, we thought we need to empower them with the digital basics, because that's where we are headed. We are headed there. So we all need to know how to use the technology that comes before us. These different tools, by the way, have a lot of content. Last time when I was visiting most of these schools, we were trying to identify challenges that our young ones and teachers face in improving their reading abilities. You know, some of you who met me before Empress, we are doing early grade reading. And most of our teachers in these lower classes, in a way of supporting their learners in their reading abilities, would find them making these learners make the letter names and singing those letter names instead of the phonics, the letter sounds. Would hear those A, B, C, D, E, F, G, in schools. So we're like, what are these teachers teaching our learners? How will the ABC come out in the reading ability? Because if I want to pronounce, bring out a word, how do I segment it? I need to know the letter sounds. And most of we teachers were struggling. We have the phonics content in there. It can assist our lower teachers in those classes. Practice, and familiarize with the different content. If I brought one of the teachers would struggle here maybe on making the letter sounds. And I'm reminding some of us on those letter sounds for those lower classes whenever I reach those schools. So we thought they were also important, and you could always visit our tablets in those schools and familiarize with the content there. This is the attendance that we had per district school in that category. Before I proceed, I would want to invite just 2 minutes, one of Empress staff who is doing e-learning in schools. Flores, are you around? To just let us know how our children benefiting, how are our learners benefiting, so that we know what we did for the teachers. Flores, please just take us through 3 minutes. Kindly let us know about how our assisting our learners with the e-learning labs in schools.
My name is Mbambu Flores. I'm an education assistant under Empress, and I'm in Kitarasa Primary School. So, I guess we all know what e-learning is, the use of these electronic devices for learning. And in our case, the devices we use are the tablets. So, whenever we are in these classes of ours, we first make sure we identify those learners who need like special attention. In most cases, a teacher will come in class, teach like thinking everyone is understanding on the same page without knowing people's capabilities. So there are these learners who are slow in learning. So make sure at least we identify them so that we can also give them a one-on-one session so that they can also come up. Another thing, these tabs of ours, they possess a lot of work which is on our curriculum in schools. So most times, the learners get to research for themselves. This is helping because we all know in this era, it is research. Even when you reach in secondary school these days, the new curriculum, you make your own research. So if you come from primary when you already know how to make your own research, it becomes somehow easy. And it is also helping teachers get some notes for themselves to teach the learners. I find out someone wants maybe a topic in some schools have no textbooks. So some teachers like, yeah, let me search from the tabs and make my own work so that I can teach my learners. So it is helping in that way. In this case, I don't know if you have seen the Rachel. Our Rachel here, it is the one that has everything installed. Just like we can connect our phones to, yes. This one, it is the server that we use to connect those tabs. The work is on this. So when we connect this Wi-Fi to those tabs, we can do what? We can get all the work that we do what? That are installed on those tabs. And this, I am calling it a Rachel. Don't say it is the name of a person. It is just an abbreviation. R stands for Remote Area Community Hotspot for Education and Learning. Meaning it is not limited, like maybe you may reach a place where your network is like here, there is no MTN network, there is no, this one works everywhere. Whenever it is, you can connect it even on your phones and get the work. Even now, I can put it on. You can also even connect it on your phones and you can see which work we possess on the Rachel. So, even our partner schools can share something, like we've been working with them, they know what we are doing, maybe they can share something, they can be having something to share about e-learning. Do we have any among the head teachers who are having this program in the schools?
Thank you, Florence. Allow me to say protocol observed. On behalf of Bukwali Primary School, where I am a head teacher, we have had this program since 2022, and I really want to appreciate the lady you sent us, Kasfa, who was later on taken to another level, and Samson is equally doing so great work. Thank you. I, for one, I love things to do with IT. That's one of my passion. When I heard about it happening somewhere, I ran very fast to make sure we tap on it. But seriously, we are celebrating and we are enjoying. I even sent in my proposal. I'm only waiting for response. We have a few tabs, but the entire school is really on our head. Even those of P1 want to interact with these tablets. The other day I was very surprised when pupils wanted to debate, and the topic was it was so tactical, it really needed a lot of content, not only from the school setting, it needed some international knowledge. Pupils went to Samson and told Samson, can we use, since it's not yet a session for e-learning, but we want to interact with those tablets. Samson also did not know that they wanted to make research on the topics of their debate topic. Everyone was busy struggling with the tablet, because the Rachel, whenever Samson is at school, the Rachel is open for everyone to use. So people were very busy struggling with the tablets and writing. So I was wondering, is this session on the timetable for today? Only to realize that they were looking for some good points of their debate topic. And indeed, actually, we had a very nice debate with a lot of knowledge. So I really want to request each one of us to embrace this, just like the word embrace says. We include everyone. And I really want to request that through the country director, give us more, please. We are waiting.
Provided within the Rachel servers to our different devices that our learners use, and we wanted to show what our teachers didn't know. That's why we did that training, because our learners were ahead of our teachers. We thought that input is done by Wilbert himself. And yeah, that is. All the planned 10 schools were reached, and we are happy also to see active participation of the teachers and head teachers in these schools we reached. Champion teachers were identified because we need to cascade the knowledge to the rest, and we need sustainability. That's why we need always to identify champion teachers on ground who can take on, because these programs, these projects come and go, but we look at the sustainability at the end of it all. Thank you. We're just summarizing that. You could go to the next. We shall have maybe copies to share. Feedback. We had evaluation questions during our trainings, like it is always. At the most captured 3 from the percentages that were not captured. We wanted to know the additional support or information that would like to receive from e-learning. Most of the participants were requesting for more trainings. What does this imply? It goes back to the different stakeholders. You can copy from there, because we don't only need the 10 schools to benefit alone. We need a wide coverage, so we need to take this. It means already the 10 schools appreciated the trainings they had. They found the variety of content provided by the Rachel. That was the answer to most of the teachers. And the majority still suggested that more time should be given for these trainings. At first, when we started conducting these trainings, we thought it was obvious teachers knew these things. Because we thought, since there are more smartphones available nowadays, we thought teachers knew these things. What we found on ground was something different. And we really tried to engage most of these teachers. This, like I said, this is where we are headed. We need to know ahead of our learners. We need to make more research. And how can you do that? We have to have basics on this technology, tools that are in front of us, that we have those phones that we use as torches most of the time. Yeah? We are ignoring their useful impact. Most of the time, I see our mothers, our sisters using them to light and cook. And only maybe the calling also comes in as a second option. But they forget that other part that is very useful. And we can make it happen. Those are the different engagements we had in the different schools, part of the schools, and that was it. Maybe the challenges we need to share. We found one of the schools, I think that is, it is supposed to be Nyabuhara, yeah, I think. Nyabuhara. When we reached this school, they had an issue that most of our gadgets would go off before even the sessions. We are glad Embrace took an action. The next time we reached there, they had a solar system in place. That is Empress. I hear from the head teacher they have been connecting again to do electricity there, something of the sort. We really want to appreciate the country director for that initiative to the school. There is still a small resistance within some of our teachers on embracing the technology. I think there is a fear that we discovered. I really questioned one of the teachers who said, for me, I'm soon retiring. My son, this may be a bit too much for me. Knowledge is power. So we did some sort of awareness, and we are still saying we all need this knowledge, even after retirement. You have your granddaughters, sons who are coming in, they need this, and you're there free. What will you give? You need to know this, because you will be the one now in charge of these grannies. Absenteeism. This was seen in one of the schools that we visited in Bundubujo. And this is where Empress takes the first step. Because it is not all about Empress wants to get the fund and put it somewhere. We need an impact. We are looking at our learner. And if we, the head teachers in the different schools, are collaborating with these initiatives, with these IPs on ground, what are we doing to our learners? Dear teachers, head teachers, what are we doing? It was really unfortunate that the program was withdrawn from this one school that was benefiting. And I would not love that happen to our dear schools that we are really implementing with, because it is our learners that miss at the end of it all. Thank you very much. We are just panobating some of those areas we touched. And yes, the participation was almost 100. And we loved the participation of the head teachers on ground. At least each school had always a head teacher join the teachers during those trainings. We know what that is. We all know what that is. It was really a nice time during those days of the trainings. And it is now that I take the opportunity to thank the participants who are here, the few that are here, that participated in this exercise. We believe you're passing this knowledge to our little ones. Thank you very much. We just have around 41 minutes to 1.
I work with Empress International as a facilitator. I'm just going to take you briefly through the session on feedback of what we've so far covered. And my co is Brenda. So we have only 40 minutes, 30, 20. So I'm taking 10. She will take 10 minutes. You know, team working is key in everything. So we've been taken through the project overview of the project we are working on. We also went through the feed research findings. Hope you people have been noting out the gaps somewhere. And with a feedback session, we only allow comments which are going to help our project succeed. If there are gaps, you feel like if it was designed, remember we are not changing the project design, but you're only giving us an input to help us ensure that the project becomes a success at the end of the day. Remember, this is not Embrace's project. It is your project. To enable it to work, we need to come up with better strategies on how we are going to teamwork and ensure the success of this project. Now, before I give you a chance to comment, we've been moving around schools shortly. When I'm moving to schools where there are disabled children, children with disabilities, we've been identifying a few gaps that need some kind of the head teachers being innovative to ensure our learners stay in school and complete school with ease. There is a certain school I went to, I won't mention the school, but I know this is a challenge to most schools. We identified that there are learners with hearing impairment, totally deaf, but within the school, there are no sign language teachers. The project says, leave no learner behind. How do we ensure that even the deaf children stay in school, get same information, just like any other learner? It's not just an issue of having disabled children in school for purposes of inclusion, but it's about giving the same content, a learner getting the same content, just like any other learner. Now, my request to the CAO, DHO, especially those in charge of special needs. We need qualified special needs teachers, not just getting someone for the sake of you be. There's somewhere where I went, someone was just I don't know what the person was even interpreting, just doing this. Remember, I have a few basics in sign language. Let's not fake things. We want our children to learn and succeed just like me, Herbert, Wilbert, Brenda, and Brian. But we can only have these children succeed if we give them the right content. We need teachers. Thank you. Now, let's go to why I'm here. We need feedback from you people. How do we ensure that the Embrace project becomes a success? What needs to be done? Where should we try to make maybe some kind of adjustment? What do you think is still lacking? Your responses will show that you people have been attentive. Hello? Oh, can I rephrase it? We need just comments. It can either be negative. You may say, maybe you take your project and leave. We are not interested. Or the design was 100%. Or are you willing to embrace and own the project even after the project phases out? Or you're like, no. When your project phases out, you still get money. For us, we won't sustain it. Yeah?
We only have 25 tablets. And when it is time for that session, other people who are not involved also would like to be learning with other pupils. So it is my humble request that you assist us with more tablets so that my facilitator here, Mr. Ambusa, can have a bigger class during his period of that session. Thank you.
To suggest that you also at one time call parents of these children, have meetings with them, let them see my young son Chihembo, and be encouraged that their children are not wasted. Because the experience I have with the parents of these children is they don't mind. For instance, I have two children who studied from P1, right now they are in P7, but I don't know their mother. For 7 years, I don't know their mother. I don't know any of their relatives. They came to my school on a border. And every time they go on a border. One of the two, and a sister and a brother, but they lost their father. Their mother is there. Their mother does not mind. They were brought by someone else to our school on a border. So it is our initiative to see that they are going back home. Unfortunately, a girl is crippled. Our work is to lift her. At least the boy can crawl, but the girl, we lift to the wheelchair, we lift to the toilet stanza, we clean. Okay, everything I can tell you. Now, this girl is very clever right away from P1 to P7. She has never been the second. She has never been the second. She's always the first. But we don't know any of their relatives. So if you can come in and maybe give also some word of encouragement to these parents so that at least they can be able to have a positive attitude towards their children. It is not only those ones, but there are very many. They even tend to hide them. Sometimes we even take them to their homes. So kindly make it a point that these parents can also be put on board to get at least something to know that they are positive to their children's education. Thank you.
Concern, I'm Baruch Sylvester again, District Inspector of Schools, Kasese. My concern is about the mind, the issue of the mind. Colleagues are aware that whatever we do, all our actions are influenced by our minds, the perceptions we have on certain situations, on certain issues. Like Madam has said, my issue is that if possible, if it is possible that we identify all the parents, we identify parents of these people with different special education needs and have them convened, have a meeting with them, a sharing with them, and present to them other individuals who have equally same inabilities or education needs, it can work for them, because others don't mind just because they think that these people are useless. So if these parents could be identified, brought on board, and be and people like you people who are facilitating be brought, so that you act as their case, their role models, the minds can change and see value in their children. Otherwise, like Madam has said, most of our parents see these learners as useless. And seeing them as useless is an issue that begins in their mind. So the issue of mindset change. How I wish Embrace International organized a package on mindset change to these parents so that their minds are changed from negating issues related to special needs education or to learners with special needs education to positivity. Something can be done. Yeah.
Education Officer Special Needs, Kasese District Local Government. Thank you, Kihembo and Embrace International, for this interactive important engagement. For sure, we have so many challenges. And now that the Commissioner Special Needs is with us, allow me, Commissioner, put some concerns that need some interventions. One, we still have the community and leaders at all levels that don't support learners with special needs. And at the level of a district as education officers, sometimes we don't go down. Some CDOs do help and others don't. Therefore, my appeal to the Commissioner was when special needs came and when it was still being sponsored by Danida, we had the SNECOs at sub-county levels. And the SNECOs helped us so much. And by then I was also a SNECO in my sub-county. We helped to enter the villages. You know, when you go deep into the village, you have so many children. And children who come out like Kihembo here, they are children of able parents. They are children of parents who have moved. Like the mother is a head teacher, the father is a reverend. They feel empathy for their child. But most people in the villages are always sympathize with these people. And when they sympathize with them, what happens is that they tend to leave them. And when they leave them, then the children are just there without any help. So my appeal again goes that as we are here, also let us be supportive. Most schools, as Minister says, are inclusive. Most of our children, as in special needs, for us there is a way we do our things. We shall always handle a learner according to their ability. But most schools, because of massive promotion, we don't handle these children. Child will even reach P7 in schools that don't cater for them properly. They are being denied rights. Actually, last year, in around December, I visited a child that was about to do suicide. Why? The school where the child was had said, for us, we can't continue with this child. I had to go to the parents. I advised them, and I'm happy that Kinyamaseke is handling the boy. And now the boy is very happy in the school. Therefore, my appeal is that ministry, we know the resource envelope may not be there, but lobby for us. As we get to the partners, let also the partner work with us as we go down to search for these children. Because we know they are as important as any other child if given the opportunity. Like we have seen the example. So if this child was left, then the disability would be the worst today. But because of the interaction he's doing, he's tending to be more able than us who seem to be able. Therefore, without boring you with a lot of words, if I had the opportunity to talk a lot, I would. Allow me also stop from here.
Ngavirano Frank is my name once again, head teacher St. John Paul Primary School, Kidubuli. This is my request to Embrace International, if possible. We don't have enough teachers for special needs education. So it is my request, if possible, if you can support these teachers from the schools you work with, at least to get the skills so that we can do the teaching very well. Teachers of special needs are very scarce. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. This is Zimbabwe Sarah from Kamengo Primary School head teacher. Okay, my concern on my supplement to what should be done to improve inclusive education in schools. My ideas are as follows. We need to make our schools more child-friendly and attractive to favor to favor inclusion, teaching and learning. Secondly, we need to organize radio talk shows on inclusive education programs to create awareness in the community. Thirdly, we need to improve on the existing facilities in schools and provide more equipment and tools to make learning easy for different learning differences. Next is to promote games and sports activities which are friendly to special needs children in schools. And lastly, apart from classroom teaching or learning activities, we need to lay strategies like introducing projects in schools which can help learners out of school to improve on their welfare and well-being. Thank you.
My name again, Head Teacher Kazingo. I am humbled by your consideration to bring Kazingo also on board. And I would like to inform you that we shall cooperate and ensure that no learner is left behind. However, within our community, we have learners with special needs who are not at school. For instance, we have a young boy who knows a bit of English. He says, "How are you?" He comes, speaks a chapat, a pancake after he goes back to school. I don't know, do you have any program for such children at home? Thank you.
To the commissioner who is here, that always what leaders get interested in with the seriousness is what takes root. Like the president is, yes?
Let me take away this first, you see? First use that.
Like the president is serious in science, it's going to take root.
You first leave the microphone.
Like the president is serious with the science, we know it's going to take root. The other time, when I was still a young boy, we had I don't know whether it was with the rest of other districts, but in Nikasese, we had a vehicle. I still remember the color, it was painted yellow. That vehicle was for special needs. And wherever the education officer in charge of special needs was moving around, it was advertising for inclusivity itself, the vehicle. And everyone, whenever it could reach our school, we were like, a motoka ya special needs, and for us we called it a yabalema. A motoka yabalema has come. And parents were aware just by looking at the vehicle itself. And this vehicle is no longer seen. And the message of special needs also is like, so the request is, if government could plan and give such vehicles or means of transport to education officers in the districts, the vehicles themselves branded, written on special needs, whether it is a motorcycle, anything, so that the education officer can, while moving around, people can say the vehicle for. It takes a message itself, and the parents will be aware. In the case of anything, they will be compelled to ask where the owner, the one who owns that, where that owner is, and finally something will reach him and an action will be done.
But he has just taken over one. So the last one is a recommendation. Since in one way or the other there is use of technology or those gadgets, I want to suggest that we also add some more knowledge with it, like training the chatbot. It would help on getting direct access to information, not through scrolling. So if, since we already have the software engineer with us, I really want to request you do some more work on training the chatbot so that there is easy, direct access. Someone can just go into some kind of a search engine, you type in what you want, you even get a chat with some trainer somewhere through other servers and other search engines. Thank you.
More recommendations, isn't it so? And we are going to build on those recommendations to see how they fit within our work. They are good recommendations, by the way. And these recommendations are for us and you, because there are some recommendations which are supposed to be fulfilled. Hope you've been noting where you people lie. For example, making the classrooms conducive. Honestly, does the Embrace have to come and make your classes conducive? It's you, the head teachers, to ensure the environment, the classrooms are conducive. Now, we've got your feedbacks here, but some of the feedbacks are going to be responded to by the commissioner. Then some will be responded to by our country director. But before that, Brenda is going to read our comments so that the commissioner is able to track the part, and our country director will respond to her part. Thank you.
One from Richard Ayesige, the head teacher of Chamatanga Primary School. His concern was about the population of the school is large and the tablets are few. He's recommending for more tablets. Then head teacher Rukoki Primary School was concerned about calling parents meeting for those children with special needs and interact with them and know them. Then from Mr. Baluku, he insisted on identifying parents of the learners having disabilities, because some parents still have negative attitude towards their children with disabilities. Actually, they regard them as useless. Then from Mr. John, there were challenges, the community and leaders at all levels that don't support learners with special needs. Those are the challenges. I think they'll be addressed by him. Then community members still sympathize with children having special needs. Then he requests us to be supportive as education officers, because some schools that claim to be inclusive are not actually practically inclusive. Then another question from Mr. Ngabirano. The request was they do not have enough teachers for special needs education. Then number 6 from Ms. Mbabazi, Sarah, what should be done to improve on inclusive? Actually, first she was giving us on what should be done. She said, make schools more children friendly, organize radio talk shows, improve on existing facilities, just like what Madam Zawadi was saying. Sometimes you go to schools and there are those learners living with disabilities, but you find their classes are not accessible. So you wonder how those children are actually being considered. And then she goes on and says, less strategies, introduce projects in schools to help learners that are already out of school. Then from number 7, children need unconditional love. There's need for trained educators for emotion needs for those learners living with disabilities. Then from Madame Florence, Kazingo Primary School, within the community, there are learners with special needs that are not attending school. Actually, she was asking whether there is any special arrangement that such also children can be considered and brought to school. Then request to the commissioner, this was so direct, the government should plan and provide a special vehicle that can identify children with disabilities. Then a recommendation from our last speaker says, add more knowledge on the our Rachel, this server that provides a chatbot for easy research. I think that's what we have for today. So, Madam Isabella, you can come.
I'll just take a few minutes. Thank you all for the feedback. This has been a great learning meeting, I can say. I'll just give a comment about a few of the feedbacks, and then I'll invite. Okay, yes. Someone talked about more tablets. Yes, this is something we shall put into consideration as Embrace. And yeah, we will bring more tablets to Bukwali. And thank you so much. Bukwali has been one of the schools that has really embraced this project so much. You give us more reason to look for that funding and bring those tablets. And we'll do that. And for the parents meeting, yes, we are going to have parents meetings. We are going to meet with these parents. And we are going to have a training session with them, just like we've had here. And we are going to engage them and also go deep into getting to know those parents, especially who are not bringing their children in the communities, and even those children that our head teacher from Kazingo mentioned. We are so passionate about this, and we will do all we can, of course, with your support. So yes, we are in this together, right? As we wait for our commissioner, allow me to appreciate, one, our parents who have given us permission to work with these children in our schools. Secondly, our school governing body and our head teachers, thank you so much for always opening your doors to us whenever we come to your schools. And our district leadership, the political wing, the technical wing, and representatives from the President's office, thank you for hearing our call each time we reach out to you, you show up, and we are going to continue knocking at your doors. You're going to see us each and every time because we have to push this. Yes, this is not something that we are doing so that it just stops here. This is something that we are doing to see a better future for our children. Last but not least, I'll save this one when he is here. Yes, we invited them and they came all the way from Kampala to come and be with us here today. We are really so grateful. So grateful. And for Embrace staff, thank you for being a committed group of people, for pushing our mission beyond what we thought we could be able to do. To our chief guests, our guest of honor, thank you so much for coming all the way from Kampala to be with us here today. And we believe that everything that we have discussed here is going to go back to our leaders through him. Otherwise, allow me invite our guest of honor to share with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. Our RCC for Porto City, Kao Cabrole, my colleague from Special Needs for Porto, other district leaders, inspectors of schools, DICs, our country director, Embrace, and staff. I'm happy to be here for this important meeting, which talks about inclusive education. Colleagues, you cannot talk about inclusive without having something excluding somewhere. Because, Madam Isabella, somebody can say you are brown. But you only say you are brown when there is somebody black. And now you are brown, but when you stand with the RCC, you are no longer brown, you are black. So, when we are talking about inclusive education, there must be something excluding some people. So, as Minister of Education, our definition for inclusive education is not having learners with special needs and disabilities in the same class with other learners in front of, before the same teacher and having the same content. No. Our definition for inclusive education is making every child of school-going age access education, participate in education, achieve, and progress. That is inclusive education. Inclusive education doesn't mean about disability or without people without disability. Provided you are a child of school-going age, you should access education, participate in education, achieve, progress. That is inclusive education. Maybe before I continue, I need to make this clear. I don't want to lose my job. When you call me commissioner, then tomorrow the commissioner will come here and say, when you go back, tell your commissioner, Mogisa, I will be in trouble. I'm a principal education officer in the Department of Special Needs. Embrace had invited the commissioner, and they even included the name. And the commissioner is Madam Sarah Bugoski-Boli. So she was not able to make it here. I said, Mugisa, can you go and represent me here? And I had to accept because I was coming home. So, for those who have interacted with me for a longer time, I like music, but I don't know how to sing well. So, I want to begin with the teacher's anthem. So teachers here should help me to sing only the chorus of the teacher anthem. I'm saying teacher's anthem, now you are saying you're not. I'm saying teacher's anthem. Oh, the teacher, the greatest treasure of mankind, mirror of the world, is a noble character. Teaching is a calling and the passion moves us all, for because we are, the nation is. That one. I want the words. Teaching is a calling. The teacher, the greatest treasure of mankind, mirror of the world, is a noble character. Teaching is a calling and the passion moves us on, for because we are, the nation is. So whatever you see in this country, whatever is going well, it's we. And whatever is going wrong, so get that one. So, members, inclusive education in Uganda is nothing new. When you say what is special education, the definition is of special education is good teaching. And what is good teaching? You don't discriminate. You don't make the learner change to the system. You change the system so that every learner fits in. That is inclusive education. Because for us, if you say that for us, because we don't have teachers of special needs, we shall not admit learners with special needs. For you, be ready all the time to welcome anybody. If you don't welcome them, then you yourself, you will have a disability tomorrow. And the system will say, since you did not prepare yourself, leave. I'm one of those lucky people that the schools you have talked about here, I know many of them. Ruko Kimodo, at least was there, I think, last year. Kinyamaseke was there last year. Buhundu, I'm trying to get the geography of Buhundu. Is that Bundibugyo? Yes. Is that the one after the junction to Lamia somewhere? What is Buhundu? Huh? Buhundu is in the Bundibugyo town council. That one I don't have it, but at least I know Bumate. Bumate is just after the hospital. You go up, you go through small stones, and you are at the school. So, Kiamatanga, I know those in Bunyangabu, Kanonapolo. Of course, for your information, I studied from Kanonapolo College. I taught in Kanonapolo demonstration for some years. I studied from Mugusu Primary School. So, at least I know, I was telling her, I know the geography of Kabarole, even the history, even the mathematics. What I don't know is the chemistry and the physics. But at least the geography, the history, and the mathematics, I know. So, people, I thank you. Because what you are doing now, when you embrace inclusive education and you make these learners succeed, when you make Wilbert succeed and do what he's doing, unfortunately, it's not you who is being praised. It is the Minister of Education, Commissioner Special Needs. You are doing very well. Thank you for doing our work. Thank you very much. And on this note, let me thank these people, the CAR, the RCC. These people, if you got a chance of seeing what is on their tables, sympathize with them. So when this meeting is in Kabarole and their offices are just here, but they choose to come here and sit for all those hours, don't just take it for granted. So thank you very much. When he was talking, I asked myself whether he had some sort of training in special needs, because it seems now most of our leaders are with us in special needs. I also thank these people who developed the curriculum, the lower secondary curriculum. It works very well for us. Only that the mistake we made is to start it from up. We would have started it from down. But it is, in fact, even the primary curriculum is about that, only that it is our system which brought problems. don't even have the passwords of their own portals. They left that work to the service providers. They just call the service provider. Now, when you go to the school, say, can we access your portal and see what? I have to call the service provider to give me the password. That is a very big problem, Mr. Cow. So, this term, at the second week of the term, I was in Kalungu. There is a school, special school for the deaf. When we tried to access the portal, we found that all the 280 learners, deaf learners, according to the system, did not have special needs. According to the system, they are learners in the school, but none of them had special needs. So it means when the government is giving funds for learners with special needs, that school should not receive. When actually it is. So I don't want to ask each of you, but answer that question. Do you manage your portal? Those learners you are saying are in your school with special needs, do they appear on the portal as learners with special needs? In April this year, if the program remains as it is, we are coming to your schools, every school in the country, whether pre-primary, primary, secondary, tertiary, non-tertiary, to make a baseline education survey of learners, all learners. We want to know learners with special needs. It will be funny to come to the school, UBOS has come to the school, you say we have these learners with special needs, but the numbers do not tally with what is in the EMIS. We should have the same figures. I'm forgetting that I was given 10 minutes. Sorry. But colleagues, on the SENECOs, we want to begin with the district local government, district, municipal. After getting those officers in place, then we can think about the SENECOs, because at that time the SENECO is Special Needs Education Coordinator. Those people were working at sub-county level. They did not have any remuneration. They were volunteers. At that time, Danida helped us and bought base course for those people. Now a base course may not work for you. And given the staffing levels, when you get a teacher from a school to work as a SENECO, that is a very big gap. Because each teacher has enough load. So we may have to think about it in another way. But we are thinking about special needs. We are working hard. Yesterday, I traveled to Fort Portal at night, because yesterday we had a big meeting with the permanent secretary, with the partners, with the National Curriculum Development Center, with the UNEP, to talk about accelerated education program, how they can be registered for UNEP, also do exams. This is the accelerated education program is for people who dropped out of school because of different reasons. They have spent some time, years out of school, but this person is intelligent. He wants to become an MP of Fort Portal in 2030. But because he did not complete senior 4, they will not allow him. So let this man or this lady come back to school, study for 2 years, he completes senior 4, then he continues. At that level, if he's 25 and he dropped out of school at senior 2, he can come back to level 1 of secondary, cover the content of senior 1 and senior 2 in 1 year, cover the content of senior 3 and senior 4 in another year. He sits for UCE and continue to senior 5. So that's what we are doing. And it is doing well. We started with the refugee settlements, but it is moving on well. Members, I will talk and talk about inclusive education, but Wilbert, in a special way, I thank you. Thank you very much. Rukoki Modo, thank you for the work you did. We pray for those people who have children with the special needs, that the Holy Spirit guides them to bring them to school and support them. And we request that you people be our ambassadors. Let everyone access education, participate in education, achieve and progress. I thank my people who are here, who are not teachers, but are supporting education. The management committees, the PTA, the parents, some of you are parents at the same time teachers. Most of you. I don't see, as if we have people who are not parents here, it's less than 2%. So, on behalf of the Department of Special Needs and Inclusive Education, Minister of Education and Sports, I want to thank you so much and promise that we shall continue working with you. We request that Embrace continue getting in touch with us so that we need also to make an MOU with you. We continue partnering with you. So, Madam Director, why don't I stop here? They gave me 10 minutes, I seem to have used 20, and I'm sorry for that. Thank you very much for God and my country.
Thank you so much, our guest of honor. According to our program, we shall have our RCC close this meeting. After she closes, we shall have a prayer and then we go for our lunch.
Thank you, Madam Isabella. Thank you, the Principal Education Officer. And the senior officers here, thank you for this, your time, and for being good listeners. It has been a great engagement. I appreciate everyone. I want to thank Embrace International Foundation for this. You're challenging us. You're really showing us the passion you have for children living with disabilities. And we have, me as our office, I have to commit to you that we are in this together. We are in this together, we shall support in any way possible. Because what we are seeing now is that we are recognizing the importance of collaboration with our government policies. And we also work to improve we work towards the inclusive education goals. So we shall work hand in hand to make this a success. I want to close off this meeting with those few words. But first, are we having a prayer and maybe a national anthem? We didn't have the East African anthem, and it is important. So make note of that. So he's leading us.
Father God, we thank you for this great day. We thank you that you have brought us this long. We thank you that you had this member, one of us, who brought up these ideas of including everyone in the education. We request and beg of you, bless us, bless whoever has a hand on this, bless whoever wants to contribute towards this, and bless whoever has prepared the food that is going to be eaten. Bless the Muslims who are fasting and all the other Christians who are in their Lent period. Please accept their prayers, and so that they will always praise your name. Alhamdulillah.
Amen.